Alrighty, so match week number 11 have just finished, and wow, who would have thought that we would see a week where the last unbeaten team in MLS suffered their first loss of the season, and the last winless team in MLS get their first win of the season in the same match week? Because that's exactly what happened in match week number 11. And first of all, we are going to review probably the most surprising result of this season between Sporting KC versus the Seattle Sounders. Now, I get it. The Sounders, they were missing some key guys, and obviously not having João Paulo in this game is huge because we saw it last season as a huge reason why the Sounders didn't make it to the playoffs, and also not to mention losing Christian Rodon. It definitely creates a little bit less attacking power that we see from the Sounders team. But even with that, I didn't think Sporting KC would come into Lumen Field and get all 3 points against the Seattle Sounders. And especially this Sporting KC side that has been a historic bad start to the season. I mentioned how they look completely broken in the last game. This definitely was not expected and something that I don't think anyone saw coming. But then again, you can also say that this is why we love MLS so much. And the saying of how anybody can beat anyone and on any given day is still hold true because we don't usually see a lot of league in the world where the best team in in the conference would go down against a team that has the worst record in the conference or the worst team in the league in general, that is Sporting KC. And early on, they got off to a great start. With 1 minute into this game, Polito almost scored the opening goal for Sporting KC, but he hits a long range shot wide from long range. But then in the fourth minute, Sporting KC takes the lead. It's Eric Tommy scoring from Kinda and Polito to make it 1-0 in favor of Sporting KC. They also mentioned the fact that Sporting KC is 3-1-0 at Lumen Field against Seattle. And it's also important to mention the last team that Sporting KC won in MLS was against the Seattle Sounders. But again, even with that being said, I didn't think that at that point, yes, I know the Sounders got off to a rough start, but we've seen this before with Sporting KC. We saw it earlier this season where they took an early lead, and you're thinking, well, looks like maybe things are going to turn around, and it just was kind of a mirage. So I thought this was kind of the same case when Sporting KC took the 1-0 lead. And then it wasn't because after that they started to dictate the game with possession, and the Sounders were just pin deep in their own half. Now, part of that has to do with the fact that Sounders were just committing way too many turnover in their own end. Some of them were forced by Sporting KC doing a good job winning the ball high up the pitch, but some of them were just some sloppy passes that you don't accustom this Sounders team does, especially when they're playing at home. In the eighth minute, Kinda would hit it high as the flag went up for offside. Before in the 13th minute, Alex Rodon, yeah, he got lucky here. In fact, he actually got lucky twice in this game of potentially got a second yellow card in this one, but he picked up an early yellow card, and this probably should have been the second one because he stopped a promising attack. Sporting KC actually elected to play advantage in this one, but half Sporting KC did not decide to play advantage in that one. I think Alex Rodon would be in serious trouble because the way that he just kind of stopped a promising attack. I know that it is still early in the game, but anytime when you stop a promising attack and you're on a yellow card, we've seen so many times in this league that should be a second yellow card. And again, Alex Rodon, he is really lucky the fact that he did not get sent off in this one, and he also had a moment late in this game where he commits another foul, and that yeah he didn't get a second yellow for this. So yeah, again, very fortunate. Though again, we'll see whether or not if there's going to be a retroactive suspension. I mean, I don't think there's going to be the case, but with this moment and also what happened in stoppage time, where that he also commit a cynical foul that probably should have been the second yellow card of the game. Yeah, he's very lucky. The fact that he was able to play the full 90 minutes in this one. But in the 16th minute, Russell did hit one that is deflected and goes wide, and then Showery would hit one right to Fry, and I immediately wrote, what? These Sporting KC side, because this team is not unrecognizable of how it was in the first 10 games. They actually look like the Sporting KC of an old. And as I mentioned, a team that win the ball high up the pitch with the press and able to create some chances. Though in the 30th minute, we finally saw the first shot for the Sounders as Ladero blasted high from 20 yards out. But then just 1 minute later, Sporting KC doubled their lead. It's Alan Polito finally scoring a goal in what seems like a long time. I mean, I know obviously he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, especially last season. That 20 ACL kept him out for a long time. But yeah, it's been a while since Alan Polito gets on the score sheet. But he scored here from Tommy to make it 2-0 in favor of Sporting KC. You can give a lot of credit to Eric Tommy here to just put this one on a play. And Polito, of course, show why he's one of the best number 9 in the league, able to tuck that one into the tight angle. But yeah, that makes it 2-0, and the shock was definitely on because nobody saw this one coming with the way that Sporting KC would be up 2-0. And in fact, I think this is the first time that Sporting KC is actually able to score multiple goals in a game, because coming into this game, they only score 3 goals, and those 3 goals were scored in 3 different games. But the shots were 6-1 in favor of Sporting KC through 32 minutes. Again, just completely opposite of what we thought was going to happen in this one. I mean, if you would just basically not known the jersey that both of these teams were wearing, or you don't look at the Apple TV scorebook, you would think that Sporting KC is the one that looks like the Seattle Sounders, and the Seattle Sounders looks like they're Sporting KC. I mean, it looked like both teams were splitting places of the fact that it looked like Sporting KC, the one that were one of the best team and at the top of the Western Conference, and the Sounders being at the bottom of the Western Conference. Though in the 33rd minute, Aber would hit one right to Melia before Baker Whiting slides it just wide from close range, and I thought Seattle finally started to woke up. They started to show some life in this game, and they were looking to try to get one back before the break. But we do head to halftime with Sporting KC with a surprising 2-0 lead over the Seattle Sounders. Now in the second half, Reagan would head it wide from the corner, as I thought the Sounders were on the front foot and they were looking to try to get one back. But I also thought the Sporting KC was still looking dangerous on the attack, especially on the transition. And this was expected because Peter Vermees, knowing he's leading 2-0, he's going to try to sit back a little bit, but also trying to hit on the counter against the Sounders team that is going to commit more man forward to trying to get one back. Fontas would heads one wide from a free header. Yeah, that's one that Fontas would want to have back. And then Voltaire would flash one wide after just a brutal turnover from the Sounders. Again, turnover was still a problem in the second half, and that almost cost the Sounders the third goal and probably would have been game over up to that point. But then in the 64th minute, a lifeline was handed to the host as a penalty was given to the Sounders after Ndembe brought down Ladero in the box. Or actually, not Ladero, I'm sorry. It was actually Montero, the one that is in the box. I wrote the wrong name there, and that it's actually Ladero, the one that scored on the penalty. They said that was his first goal so far this season, which is kind of surprising. The fact that that's actually his first goal of the season. I think he coming into this game he had like 5 assists, but it's surprising that it's taking this long for him to finally get his first goal of the season. But yeah, he opens his 2023 MLS goal scoring account and give the Sounders more life in this one. And again, the momentum was definitely with the Sounders. You can definitely hear the crowd was definitely into it. They were looking to try to will this team to the equalizer. Morris posted just wide from close range. As I mentioned, momentum all with the Sounders. And this is where you if you're Sporting KC, again, this is where we're gonna see whether or not if this team, up to this point they have played a great game, but this is where we'll see whether they have that mentality to pick themselves up, or are we going to see what we usually see with teams that isn't just such a bad form, just kind of crater and eventually give up a second goal, or maybe even give up a third goal to just blow this 2-0 lead in this one. Rustak then blasted wide from long range before fast forward to the 90th minute. Millie actually denied Morris in the front post, and then Rodon just fires it wide from close range. And by the way, this is just a minute after Alex Rodon probably should have got a second yellow card. So imagine if that one went in. Oh, you better believe Peter Vermees, he's going to have some choice words doing his press conference. I mean, knowing Peter Vermees and how critical he is with referee, yeah, he would definitely be very, very cross about that if Alex Rodon did get the equalizer for the Seattle Sounders. But then in the 5th minute stoppage time, Roger Espinoza, of all player, had a chance to seal it for Sporting KC first win of 2023, but Fry denies him there. It didn't come back to haunt Sporting KC, as in the end, they finally get their first win of the season. It only took 11 games for them to finally get their first win, but they're on the win column with a 2-1 win against the Seattle Sounders. Shots in this one, 11 shots for both of these teams. 5 shots on goal for the 3 that the Sounders had. 7 shots off target for the 4 that Sporting KC had. two shots that was blocked compared to one that the Sounders had, and possession-wise, 60% possession compared to 40% possession that Sporting KC has in this game. And like I said, this game I think is a classic example of why we love MLS and how parity is definitely a thing. Like you could have a game where you think one team is going to easily win, and the opposite basically happen. And now if you're Sporting KC, knowing now you finally got the monkey off the back, finally getting their first win, we'll see how they react in the next game because I think the next game they play against Minnesota at home, and that is going to be a game against a struggling Loons team. So there's a chance that they can get some resort in that one, and especially they have never lost to Minnesota United, at least in the regular season at Children Mercy Park. Maybe this might be the start of a turnaround of a season because again, when you're on a bad run like Sporting KC has been on, it's all about getting that first win. Like a win will definitely solve at least the problem that this team has been having throughout the season. And I know that there are maybe still going to be some problem you can say about this team, but I think this win is going to go a long way in terms of really getting the morale of this team up for this season because again, the morale was at an all-time low last week with how you can clearly see how broken the team is. But with this win, this is exactly what they needed to maybe kickstart a comeback in terms of just a rough start to the season. But for the Seattle Sounders, again, yeah, this is bad. Like this, and again, I know that in this game they were missing some key players, but yeah, they I don't think they'll be happy the fact that they are the team that unfortunately has the dubious honors to hand Sporting KC their first win and will go down record in terms of being the team to broke the or at least end the record in terms of the longest winless run to start a season that any MLS team has gone. That is Sporting KC. But we'll see whether or not if they can bounce back in the next game. And yeah, either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this game. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And also, I will be writing the notes for the first 8 games I'm going to be reviewing because after I finish this video, I'll basically erase this board and start writing the notes to do the review of the first eight games of what actually will be just 12 games I'm going to be reviewing on the Saturday night action because we actually had one game that was postponed it in the middle of the way because of weather. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.